Hey kids, John here. I was asked to talk about embouchure development, and so I took a moment out before doing a job the other night and got some video, a very up close video of how I think of, at least me, how to form the embouchure. And I know there's some other great information out there on the web, but it's just kind of my concept of how to form the embouchure. And so let's take a quick look at some of that right now. The set that I use to play, to find that set, if you have something on the tip of your tongue, you go, see how my face moved? This goes flat, and this makes this shape. Okay? That's the set that I use. Note the chin. Here goes the chin. Now understand that I'm not saying this set is exactly for everybody, because your face may do something different when you go. But that's the set that I use. And then placement of where the mouthpiece goes. I naturally play to the side because these teeth are back. So when I put the mouthpiece there, it goes dunk, and it goes off center. But when you go, keep blowing. That's right where my airstream is. It is slightly off center, but that's where my airstream is. My airstream comes out of that spot. Okay? That's where my airstream's coming out. So you might try and do that. Like you're spitting something out. Okay? Find out where your airstream is and see if you can place your mouthpiece over that spot, because you're instinctively directing an airstream into that area. It should be towards the center of your mouth. That's where we have the best capability of getting the best buzz, typically, is in or near the center. Again, I play off. The other thing that I have is I have a weird slope. I do this, everything's even. But when I play, something different happens. This corner is different than this corner, and it gives me this weird slope. My face isn't level. So, I don't have a perfect embouchure. But to start your embouchure, my first thought is to go like you're going to. That develops a ballpark, not, or again, my chin flattens. I think of this as my ligature. For sax players and clarinetists, they have that thing that holds the reed. Well, you have to have something holding the reed, otherwise it's just, there's got to be at least something keeping it in place. You'll see outward changes when I change notes, and there are things that are moving around, but where the mouthpiece is really stays the same. I know a lot of guys talk about two sets or two different embouchures, or for a low register and an upper register, and I've really tried to develop setting in the middle. James Thompson at Eastman talks about that. So I try and set in the middle, like I think of a G above the staff. So I'm in the same place and I'm using the same set, and my face changes a little bit, and inside of my mouth there are things that are happening that are are very difficult to explain. I advocate, as I've said before, that you do a tongue arch. I don't think that the tongue just sits in that position every time you're doing it. But I think that the tongue has a great deal to do with activating the different notes. A little bit more relaxed. It definitely is more relaxed in the bottom end. That's why it's kind of difficult for me, personally, to start at the bottom end. See, did you see my nose do that? That's me sneaking the embouchure back to where I want it. Okay, I gotta try and do that again and not do that. It's there, but it's not comfortable for me. But if I set in the middle, much more focus for me in the upper register. If I set in the middle, I can also go like that, or so I can make the large jumps with that particular set. It's different than me setting at the bottom. Again, there's guys that talk about setting for a pedal C, and that's the set you should use through your whole embouchure. I'm sure that really, really works well, but I didn't play that way. I don't play that way. I play differently. So if you have somebody that's talking about doing that, I would advocate trying to do that. I think it's a good idea. Again, classic embouchure. Right there is where my air comes out, in the center of my finger. But as you can see, it's not quite centered in the mouthpiece. So that may create some problems for me as a player. There may be some things that would be better served if I could move more dead center. The problem is, again, and that's where it goes. So that's what I'm using. That's the embouchure I'm using. So now you have an idea of how I form my embouchure and what I'm thinking about and how I set for playing. And then again, that's just me. That's the way I do it. If you're trying to build an embouchure, once you've got your embouchure formed and you've got a good sound on one note, whether it's a G or a C below the staff, G in the staff, whatever it may be, you need to expand from there. And I personally think it's a great idea to use a book, and there's no better way to do that than a beginning book. You're looking at Ed Sweda, Book 1, Standards of Excellence, Book 1. Back in my day, it was Bellwin Band Builder, Book 1. And you use that book and go through at least half of that book to do a growth pattern of expanding your range and expanding what you're playing. Again, I strongly advocate small sessions, several during the day, if possible. 1 in the morning and maybe 2 in the evening if that's all you can do. Then along with that book, once you've gotten a ways into it, then start, you can take a look at my lip slurs, lip flexibilities, overtone series video, but I advocate And again, you got to get down to the F sharp before you can start there. So in those books, it may take you a while to get all the way down to the low F sharp and be comfortable down there. Doing lip flexibilities are awesome. Earl D. Irons, incredible book. I know professional players that use that book a lot. There's plenty of method books out there that you can start adding to your practice. The main thing is don't contort, don't do strange things with your chops to get into the upper register, don't press super hard and just jam it in, don't pull back. Once you've set that embouchure and you've got this all set, that embouchure should work for you throughout all your register. And there's things on my channel and other people's channels. I would highly recommend checking out Charlie Porter's Trumpet Tips and Tricks. Charlie Porter, if you search YouTube, search Trumpet Tips and Tricks, and you're going to find Charlie Porter. Great player, incredible musician. He's got some wonderful videos out that are extremely helpful to the player from a playing standpoint. He's got some great ideas. I think he's a great player, and a lot of the stuff that he talks about may work very well for you. So take a look at what he has to say as well. But practicing, expanding your register, doing it very meticulously. Don't hurt yourself. Don't play to the point of hurting yourself. Bad idea. Play a little bit more each day if you can. Expand your register. Play longer. Don't go crazy, but make it a little bit longer each day. And that's basically how you develop your embouchure. The more time you spend on the horn, the more familiar playing becomes. So if you're rebuilding, start extremely slow. Be very meticulous about it, and don't do things just to get the next note. Do it correctly. If it doesn't feel the same as the last note, it's probably not correctly. There shouldn't be a lot of difference between feels and sounds like that. The G above the staff shouldn't feel that much different. C in the staff doesn't feel that much different. I'm activating more energy. Just like I do for the double C, I activate more energy, but I'm not manipulating a lot of other things other than the energy I'm putting behind the note. So it makes it I can go all over the horn very quickly because I'm using a similar embouchure. If I was switching embouchures and worried about two different sets, I couldn't do that. There's no way. So figure out your embouchure, set it, and then use that embouchure throughout your register. I set in the middle, there's others that set at the bottom. Figure out what works for you. Hope this helps. Take it easy.